Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Press Box, a weekly presentation of the Dispatch and the Rock Island Argus, sponsored by Zeglin's TV and Appliance. I'm Steve Tappa. Donald Jarvis off to my left here, and off to my right, Tom Johnston. We're huddling up, talking about the issues of the day, and of course, best time of the year, guys. You know, we've got the baseball helmets out. I don't know why DJ brought a Chris Carpenter. Yeah, boo, real boo. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, baseball playoffs just starting off. You know, college football in full swing, pro football in full swing, NHL, hockey's jumping off the ledge. All good stuff, and of course, prep football down to the final third of the regular season. So they're in their quote unquote playoff chases, and
don't forget your favorite time of the year, Mallard's hockey.
That's starting. What I said. They're starting up too. Yeah, everybody's going now. So it's crazy time, and we got so many, playoffs pending or already underway. Golf is underway, so forth. So no lack of things going on. We want to focus on, of course, for football. Here is our subject, prep football first. Some interesting races. Western Big Six. What the heck is going on with that race?
Go figure.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean,
you guys thought it might be a wide open race this year.
It's wide open.
It's wide open.
It's kind of seemed through the three games that every team except Galesburg has gone through like a bipolar stage, and you don't really have answers of which team is going to show up on Friday nights.
I mean, right now Moline's rolling. They got 2 in a row. They laid an egg down at Galesburg, came back and beat Rocky and Quincy. Pretty darn impressive. And now they get Alleman. I mean, they could knock Alleman out of the playoff chase with a decision. And then you've got, Rocky Galesburg's a real measuring stick.
Yeah, that could definitely go either way. I mean, Rocky's offense at times, it kind of looks like with Nimmers and Jacobs in the backfield, they kind of look unstoppable at some points, and then at some points it kind of seems like, okay, you still got the young quarterback in Jacobs, and sometimes it seems like he really gets lost sometimes and can't read some of the defenses, and Galesburg's thrown a lot of things out there this year.
Galesburg's defense impressed me last Friday against Alleman, shutting Alleman down, shutting Alleman out. They've got 9 straight quarters without surrendering a point. That said, Rock Island, like you said, Rock Island can go off like a firework. I mean,
you're going to find out this week whether last week's 60 points from Rock Island was a fluke, or whether they found something, figured it out, and have it rolling.
Hungry Hobo sure got their money's worth in that UT Rocky game last week.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
no doubt. Tweet after tweet after tweet. And then, of course, the third game this week, Quincy, UT Quincy, trying to get back on the horse after falling at Moline. And that's another team that can still factor in this race. It still has to play Galesburg, who's 3-0.
The thing is I watched Quincy play Rock Island, and Quincy gives up those big plays, and I mean, the backfield of UT, another great backfield with John Luke. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Just Jean Luc. Yeah.
Alec Austin, and you can't forget Dakari Mars, 1,100 yards already this season.
Yeah. You got to imagine that UT putting up 49 last week in a losing effort.
Yeah.
Boy, that makes you just hit your head against the wall going, what do we got to do to win the game?
When was the last time a Big Six team put up almost 50 points? And
lost? Yeah, that'd be something to look back on. That
doesn't happen very often in this league.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
That was just one of those games that kind of defied odds and defined how crazy this prep Big Six.
Of course, it's been, we were saying that last weekend. We were going, boy, every weekend there's something that you go, what the heck happened there? Alleman got off to a 45 minutes delayed start because of down-powered lines. We had the lightning early in the season, turned games into halftime on Friday, second half on Saturday, just crazy stuff every week. Could we have like a normal week?
Okay, but I'm going to throw this out there. We're sitting here talking about all these points scored and what the offenses are doing. On our Sunday sports section cover, Illinois win, Iowa win, Augustana win. none of them scored more than 14 points.
Yeah.
So there is defense being played out there somewhere.
Once in a while.
It's just a matter of where and when.
A smattering once in a while. Hey, speaking of, since we do have our college expert here, we've got Augustana, we got Ambrose. Ambrose is rolling right now. Are they going to get stopped? Are they just going to steamroll into the NAIA playoffs at this point?
You know what? Was looking at this preseason and said, Ambrose has got some guys in the right spots. They've got some experience back. And then you look at their schedule this year, and I think their opponents the combined opponents record last year was something like 47-72 or something like that. So you're saying, okay, Ambrose has just enough there to work with.
Right.
And against this schedule, this could be interesting for him. And the thing of it is, in the first 4 games, they've had a couple close calls. They've found ways to win.
Sure.
Despite themselves. They've had some issues with penalties. They've had some injuries, trying to get some things straightened out. But the close games, they've won. Last year, this team doesn't. This St. Ambrose program does not win those games because of the inexperience. This year, that's in their favor. Right now, they've got a couple of tough games left. They've got St. Francis. They've got St. Francis. Robert Morris possibly. But St. Francis is going to be probably one of their toughest tests left.
Sure.
And, boy, it's looking good for Mike Magistrelli and the group over there.
Sure. Augustana, I was going to say, is playing a lot better.
On this side of the river, one of those teams that you're still trying to figure
Under
out.
Steve Bell, yeah.
Steve Bell has come in. First couple games, they put up all kinds of yardage on offense, big points, scoring, averaging 50 points a game. And unfortunately, the defense was giving up 52 points a game. That's how you start out 1-2.
Right.
Saturday night against Elmhurst, a 3-0 team comes to Lindbergh Stadium. What happens? 9-3.
And they win.
Wins.
They win on defense.
Win with defense. You get it. They get one offensive score. They get a safety, and you almost get the defensive shutout from a team that was giving up 52 points. You're like, talk about head scratchers. So we'll find out this week. Augie travels to Wheaton, top 25 team in the country, one of the perennial CCIW powers. Litmus test this week for the Vikings. This will tell us a lot more about that club.
And a lot of local talents on both of those college teams, so something to look forward to on Saturday. Of course, on Friday, pivot back to the prep schedule. The Friday games. We talked about the Big Six. Maybe the biggest game of the weekend, Geneseo at Sterling. Geneseo State ranked at 5-1. Sterling getting votes in the 5A poll. Geneseo been 5 in the 4A poll. They're number 1 in the IHSA playoff projections in 4A. So, this is the game that Geneseo has been pointing to all season long. And of course, the key is stopping Sterling Thornton, the quarterback for Sterling.
And don't think Sterling hasn't been pointing to this game all season.
Oh, yeah, they've had this circled for a year.
One of the things that kind of comes to mind, I was thinking about this, before we came on air, is we do circle this as, the game of the week. But you think about the two teams we've seen Sterling play this year and how, they've kind of compared. I'm not saying, Geneseo was Alleman or UT, but both of those teams kind of stuck with Sterling.
They did.
And you're putting a high-powered –
Alleman should have beat them.
Right. You're putting a high-powered Geneseo offense and a quick, hard-hitting defense against Sterling. Mm-hmm. And maybe this game's not – what we think.
I don't know. I just see a rivalry game, and I see two quality teams facing off, and we're going to see how good Geneseo is, and we're also going to see how good Sterling is.
We're also going to see something out of Geneseo we've only seen once this year, and see them get on a bus.
That too. That changes. That it's a short trip, but it's a trip nonetheless, it does change your preparation.
Not the things you're completely used to. I mean, Geneseo fans do travel though.
They did okay in their last bus trip.
Oh yeah,
just a reminder. Yeah.
Some other big games in the area. We've got Mercer County trying to stay in the playoff fight at Ridgewood. Orion steamrolling right now, 6-0. They're state ranked third in Class 2A, projected 1A in the playoffs. I touched on that a little bit this week. Boy, that'd be a huge thing to see Orion drop down into 1A, I think.
I've seen Orion.
Although I don't know that it matters right now.
Yeah.
They're playing so well, and shutting out Rock Ridge 7-0 a couple weeks ago.
And their defense scoring for it. I mean, and I've seen them play a couple times, and that offense is insane. I mean, you've got Mattson just throwing the ball, and the receivers doing whatever they can to catch it. I mean, it's insane to watch their offense kind of go to work, and you're kind of, as a defensive coordinator, you're like, what do we do here?
Well, and it's tough for opposing defenses to be prepared for that type of offense. You don't see it very often.
Small schools,
it's tougher. It's easier for Orion to pick apart a basic defense, which is what you see a lot of on that level. So, Orion's sitting in pretty good shape right now, and if they do go 1A, that could make for a very interesting run.
Another game we're covering, Princeville at Anawan Weathersfield. Princeville picked up their first loss last weekend. Anawan Weathersfield trying to stay in step with Stark County in the Lincoln Trail Conference title race at 5-1. Anawan Weathersfield's clipping right along too. I mean, that's a quality team ranked in 1A, and along with Stark County, that's a pretty cool conference race to look at right now. The last game, I guess, that we're covering, Kewanee, who has just been, I guess, two heartbreaking teams. Kewanee and Erie Prophetstown is another game we're covering out of the Big Rivers, Mississippi. Both teams can't catch a break, it seems like. Kewanee keeps challenging all these big heavy hitting teams and can't quite get over the hump, and Erie Prophetstown keeps losing.
They
lost to Orion by 1.
Yeah.
They lost on a last second play to Sterling Newman by 6, and then last week they were injuries caught up with them. No, Dylan Binion really hurt them at St. Bede, but they've got to win now. They got to stay in that playoff race. It's going to get tough. It's going to get tough from here.
And what's Erie's record now?
3-3.
3-3. That is probably one of the best 3-3 teams.
Same with Rock Ridge.
And Rock Ridge also. 1A, 2A, 3A. Those two teams. Oh my gosh! That's probably not a team that one of those undefeateds or higher ranked, higher seeded teams is going to want to see in those playoff openers.
And unfortunately, some of those teams are going to be sitting 5-4 and going home when playing Rock Ridge, Orion, Sterling Newman. I mean, you go through that and 0-3, and that's uphill climb the rest of the way, and somebody's going to be sitting home 5-4 with a pretty good resume.
Yeah, this weekend will tell a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of teams that have must wins right now as far as on their schedule going. Boy, we gotta get a victory here this weekend. Yeah, Alleman especially is backed into a corner, and if they don't win, no playoffs. And that's a tough pill to swallow with 2 weeks to go yet. Yeah. So they're going to come out fighting, I bet.
The other one you look at is Mercer County.
Yeah, Mercer
against
County.
The wall down there. That's a team that you just
19 straight.
pencil into the playoffs every year, and now this year things just not going well for the Golden Eagles down in Aledo, and you really have to wonder if that string stops this year.
Yeah, 19 straight. It's going to be interesting. Certainly another fun week of football. I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are too. Hopefully you are as well. And you join us, see us at a ball game this weekend. And if not, join us back here next week on the Press Box.